are social, technological and environmental. Social because we have a very wide age span of young people with new expectations and older people with special needs. Technological because we have a lot of wireless and digital technology which is going to enable configurations of space and time that we've never seen before. And environmental, the climate change issue and the sustainability issue is not going to go away.
What we're seeing at Nokia is that employees more and more want to have a good work-life balance. So it's no longer about just providing, if you like, work settings within the office space. It's also about providing other settings, settings that perhaps a few years ago we wouldn't have thought about. And I think what we're all striving for is really to get for the employee to have a better well-being. If the employee is content, then hopefully that leads then to better productivity.
Major issues that are really driving force the workplace initiative in corporations throughout the world is there's a real drive for talent, real demand for high quality talent for many corporations around the world. Secondly is companies and individuals are working very differently from physical work to mental work. And so you got to be able to say, how do you improve the efficiency and effectiveness of mental work, and particularly with, now you add in mobile work. People are moving not only in their office, but among buildings, moving all over the world. And so how do you integrate all these ideas of mobile work, distributed work, and the idea of work environment, attracting talent, retaining talent? All those initiatives come through workplace. So it's absolutely critical. Rather than being about bricks and mortar, corporate real estate now is about work environments and creating real value for the corporation and their employees.
The internet is going wireless. There is no doubt that what we've had today has been a kind of fixed and access to the internet from a desk. That will no longer be the case. A huge new host of mobile internet devices, or MIDs as they're being known, are going to launch in the next year or so. So the internet will go wireless and mobile. New devices, the death of the telephone is absolutely kind of a fixed fact now. We see that there'll be no more lumps of plastic on desks within 5 years, and all phones will move to either mobile or software on a device of some kind. Huge growth in video. Video is the next big thing. I think in the office, people haven't realized the impact of ad hoc desktop video on physical workplace. You cannot video conference with primary circulation behind you. So there are many trends that will again challenge destinations, location and work style.
The classic driver for change is flexibility. And I would agree with that, because we need to be far more flexible than we've ever been before. Secondly, we need speed. Not just speed, but speed in innovation. We need to be really innovative. And in the workplace, people need to be orientated towards innovation, towards anything that may better our competitive position against China, against the Middle East, against India.
And the idea was to somehow create a new kind of environment that encourages the collaboration, because our management believes that through collaboration there is innovation, and without innovation we can't survive. So that's the main.
It's undoubted that there are going to be massive changes, both in terms of the nature of the climate, but also in terms of political and economic structures in the world. These changes are taking place, we can see them happening. Now, that means that the way we design space has to be resilient to very radical changes of organisation structure, changes of patterns of space use, if those buildings are going to be sustainable. And by sustainable, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily the same client living in the building. It needs to be a building like this that was constructed in the 19th century as a piece of industrial space and is now a piece of front-end knowledge service industry space. It's only possible because the nature of the space lends itself to change without change of the fabric completely. And that form of resilience, I think, is something we have to start building intelligently into our fabric.
I think we should not assume that young people entering the labor market are flexible by default and are by default enthusiastic about all kind of concepts. The interesting thing about that is that, of course, you can empower people to take more responsibility, but especially when you're young, it's also difficult to take responsibility. So you should differentiate that in your leadership style, but perhaps also in your physical workspace.
NCC stress-free concept is multi-sensory, holistic concept, which helps our clients to work in a less stressful environment. It takes the environment into account, the colors, shapes, noise, acoustic. But also it includes the working environment. If you want to concentrate, it gives you a silence and freedom to concentrate. If you want to cooperate in a trustful way, it supports the trust with your working mate. Or if you want to externalize your ideas, you have a freedom to paint and draw and write, and you can see what you have created.
As Microsoft, we went on a journey about 3 years ago in order to adopt something that we call the new world of work. The key drivers for this change had to do that with the fact that we wanted to increase the productivity of our people and we wanted to increase the vitality of our people. So what we in fact did is 3 years ago when we started this process, we realized that there were 3 main areas where we had to change. First of all was what we call the mental piece. This is how people work together, how people are empowered to do their work whenever they want. The second piece had to do with technology. How do you adopt technology in a way that it works for you instead of that you work with technology, just work with technology. And the third piece was then we had to have a working environment which facilitates that. In fact, what I said 3 years ago when we started this journey is when you come in, you have to feel Microsoft, in fact. You have to feel the culture, the people, how they collaborate, and that's where the journey started. This journey for us started with Bill Gates writing a paper called The New World of Work, where he explained how the world will change. And we as Microsoft the Netherlands decided to embark on this journey and to learn what it takes to do this. And as such, we evolved and we became a kind of pilot for Microsoft globally. And where we are now, other subsidiaries of Microsoft are adopting and are also embarking on this journey. When it comes to measurement of productivity, employee satisfaction and so on, we did a measurement about 7-8 months ago before we moved to this building, and right this month we are doing an additional survey to measure how employee satisfaction and productivity has developed. And we're doing that in conjunction with the university, that's the University of Rotterdam, and they have been supporting us in this journey for the last 3 years.